Ой. Ой, блядь, я забыл. Ой, забыл. Ой, все. Ой, бля. Ой, все. Ой-ой-ой. Всё. Так. Церковь. Точно, 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 точно.
A machine stands in the corner, watched over by the figures on the stained glass window. It's turned on and quivering with soft electricity.
Another radio computer. And this time it's already turned on. We should leave. I doubt this place bears any connection to the case. It's also quite similar to the one we have down at the station. Must be the same model.
The one you saw earlier was the Ream Civic. This is the Ream Prefect, a model number RC7024, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible interim printer. The Ream Prefect is the governmental version of the commonly used Ream Civic model. Although mostly based on the same technology, the Ream Prefect is equipped with better noise attenuation circuits. You see fluorescent play and print buttons on the keyboard. A hatch connected to the central compartment is wide open. The lieutenant says nothing. You see the machine's glowing frame reflected back from his diamond-shaped glove. Behind the hatch sits a cube-like crisscross of filaments, smoldering in the dark like fireflies. Silver tape on the side says, in black marker, log, February to March. Another filament memory. Press play to talk with the repeater. The speaker comes to life. Static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. An old lady greets you. Her voice sounds 100 years old.
Good afternoon. Votre accident on Sainte-Brune.
Мы с ней уже разговаривали.
Is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the personal log?
It's the same old woman you spoke with through the radio computer in the doomed commercial area.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Let's look around. There's no use trying to guess the answer. Maybe he knows something.
Received. I will votre accident. Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. Nothing happens.
Так. У нас... Пойдем у него пароль спросим. Только не здесь, да.
Oh, hey, Way, there's coffee in the back. Oh, wait, I meant the mother's love.
Coffee in the back. Something familiar about that. Coffee and stale cookies.
Look, man, I'm at liberty to talk about the sacred blaze of the mother's glorious heart, but not about the coffee. Too many times, essay, you need it for something.
Surveys are a good way to fish for personal information, especially in the name of public safety.
Он мне на что-то намекает, растягивает ОС.
Lieutenant raises his eyebrow, but doesn't say anything.
Don't sweat it, vato. The password is afterlife death. What you think of that? Makes me almost pity la niñita pequeña when I hear it. I think we're done here, Ese.
That was an interesting conversation. However, I'm still not sure how it's relevant to our investigation.
Ким, блядь, не пизди под руку. Сейчас все дело раскроем. Сейчас все раскроем сейчас резко, блядь. Все будет раскрыто, а что не будет раскрыто, то это
The
самое. Ага,
machine's
и да и хуй
keyboard
бы с ним.
is still illuminated. The speaker
Good afternoon, Fortress Accident on Saint-Brune. This is the East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Good. Please repeat the password. Good. I have unlocked the filament. After ending the call, please press print to access the filament. Fortress Accident, is there anything else I can do for you today? I have 2 machines registered to this company name in Martinez.
Saint-Brune, that's the church. And Rue de Saint-Guylaine? That's the doomed commercial area.
Anything else I can help you with? Goodbye.
The machine's keyboard is still illuminated. The printer prints out a long text document with dated paragraphs. It looks a bit like someone's journal. The first entry, made on the 4th of February, 51, by an unknown author, is short and concise. Arrived at the church, the door was boarded up, so I used the crowbar to get inside. Looks like the place has been deserted. Nothing out of the ordinary, but I'll ask around. Need to figure out how to get the electricity in.
Ага.
The lieutenant leans closer, scouring the printout over your shoulder. Just as you finish reading, he looks up, muttering under his breath.
4th of February. That's over a month ago. Whoever set up those machines has been here for quite a while. Our case? No, I don't think so. It must be some local eccentric.
6th of February, 51. Had a little chat with the local fishermen. Said I shouldn't go near that place, that the church was spooky and ridden with narcotics. It's a little spooky, all right. Still haven't figured out the electricity. What was that about narcotics?
Да,
This
блядь,
proved to be
электрохимия, отъебись.
interesting. 7th of February, 51. Finally got the electricity in. Next on the agenda, a new antenna. I'm thinking ESCA series, something advanced.
Why would anyone need any of this equipment here?
8th of February, 51. Bought the antenna, had some problems setting it up. Called Simo for help. Heard the others are back to making art. Drinking somewhere out of town. Sulislav started a rock band again. Lexi has been seen asking money from strangers. But at least the artists have their act together. They're qualified labor. They can get work anywhere. Graphic design, ads. The programmers are doing fine too. I mean, they're programmers. The writers, though, they're fucked. I just have to find out what caused that data loss and be done with it. Still don't understand how it managed to wipe out the backup when the backup wasn't even connected to the front. I know. Everyone thinks it's impossible. They say I must be lying. I'm here to set it right.
Seems like something to do with radio computers. Unfortunately, I don't know enough about them to understand what the author is saying. Something about the backup data getting destroyed, and how everyone thought it was the author's fault. Let's just keep reading. I think these people worked in the radio computer games business, the one we saw in the Doom commercial area. They must be our former co-workers.
12th of February, 51. Brought some food from the grocery store. Apparently, there's a strike going on in the harbor. Definitely not happy to see the Martinez people again. Everything's now set up in the church. Going to start working tomorrow, 8 a.m.
The strike. We are nearing the date of the murder. Keep reading. I'm interested now. I want to know what's that radio anomaly that sent this person here in the first place.
25th of February, 51. I've been sending data up to Lintel for a while now, trying to recreate the data loss, but nothing. Didn't even feel like logging in, the disappointment. But I did discover a curious audio-spatial anomaly at the back of the church. I've named it the Swallow. It swallows sound. Need to get some mics.
Is she talking about?
28th of February, 51. Yes, the first recordings confirm that the Swallow is real and I'm not just losing my mind. It's a pillar of silence with a diameter of approximately 3 meters. Seems like the higher I go, the less I record. This might be a coincidence, or it could be connected to the data loss that led me here.
The pillar of silence. She is talking about the silence. Is she suggesting it's more than just an architectural quirk?
The lieutenant doesn't answer. He follows your gaze, studying the basins. The water shines in them. No ripples. March 51. Some kind of young disco men have appeared next
Чем
to
март
the church.
51 без даты.
I've been trying to record the silence to find the epicenter, but now it turns out I've also been capturing the future of dance music, one neo-disco song over and over again. Fortunately, the song is so monotonous, I was able to devise an algorithm to factor it out. The other day, one of the disco men came in. Before I could even say hello, she got scared and left. Good, I don't want anyone distracting me from my work. That disco man must be a cell.
The girl on the ice? Sounds like her, yes.
March 51. I got a call from the repeater station. Someone has tried to access the radio computer in our old office in Martinez. Can't do anything about it. The storekeeper still doesn't want to let me inside the building.
Ну, это не
Thinks
про
I'm
нас.
part of some kind of
Мы
curse. How
получить
Martinez
доступ
of
к
her.
компьютеру пытались. Да-да-да, это про меня.
I knew it wasn't a good idea to meddle with that machine.
No, it was a great idea. You're learning things. This is how you learn things about machines. March 51. A new 2-meter aux cable. Noodles. Crackers. Ping energy drinks. Water. Toothpaste. Gum. Also some canned air. Your reading is interrupted by the sound of the church door opening. A strange woman makes straight for the radio computer.
И мы такие, типа, как мебель.
Breaking into my radio computer, I see.
Yes, you are breaking in, but not into her radio computer. You're a master circuit bender.
I do apologize for the intrusion, madame. We are with the RCM, you see.
There are no coalition military data links. And even if there was, you couldn't access them over a civilian network.
Смог бы, я же просто бог кибернетики. Я использую ваш ремпрёфик, чтобы захватить стрелец, боевой корабль коалиции. Их ждет поражение от собственных пушек.
No one asked you to do anything interesting with my radio computer. Now please give me some room. I need 2 seconds to see that you haven't destroyed anything.
We should talk to her after she has rebooted the machine.
Мы делаем квиксейв. Заебись.
What is it? No, you just printed out my personal log and wasted some paper.
Слушайте, а вы совершенно случайно не ведущая программистка покинутого мира?
Yes. Or no. Not anymore. That project is dead.
She doesn't seem surprised to be recognized. Rather sad. Something passes over her face before she straightens her back.
I am Soona Luukkanen Kilde.
Soona
former lead
Luukkanen
programmer of
Kilde.
Fortress Accident and
Perkele.
RSA radios. I have over 16 years of programming experience, and I'm proficient in both Vox and Orbis languages. If you're not here to hire me, I don't really know how I can help you.
Did she say over 16 years of experience? She must have started programming when she was still a teenager. That still doesn't answer what she's doing in an abandoned church.
Nope. Yes. And? No, you're right. I'm not. I brought them here. These are my machines. Please don't touch anything. I use the AR-1 as my RAIM prefix processing unit. Mm-hmm. Yes? You really don't know anything about radio computers, do you?
Честно говоря, я вообще не очень много знаю.
Alright. Well, all radio computers perform operations up on air. So in order to gain more processing power, you need to invest in a good antenna. On the front, the unified front of radio waves, licensed and controlled by Lintel. It's all around us. That...
Like love.
Господи, как любовь.
I guess it is. So far I've been quite satisfied with it. Martinez is an unstable region with bad coverage, and the operation has been surprisingly stable. But it's not the cheapest one on the market, so I wouldn't recommend it for your regular red tape operations. Fraser 1000 is a foolproof line for civilians. Anyway, you should do some research before you decide to buy anything. Ask around, compare the prices. There are many milieus dedicated to that sort of thing. I'm working.
The machine seems almost alien with its pulsing core. The light casting her face in a strange shadow.
Could you just shh for a moment? Or get to the point? I really need to focus on something. So you do know something about computers. You're right. Prefect is used mostly by the government peeps. No, I don't. Because I needed something good for my investigation, and RAIM Civic is widely agreed to be below all standards. Besides, owning a RAIM prefect isn't such a big deal anymore.
No, actually, it is kind of a big deal. You don't see REAM prefects in every police department, for example.
I know a friend of a friend. who used to
О,
finance the
да-да-да-да-да.
coalition.
Ну, знаете, у меня есть друг, у которого есть друг, который знает очень важного человека, который работает.
Prefect is mainly based on the same technology as RAIM Civic, so it's kind of a rip-off. But it does have better compatibility with newer antenna models, so I won't complain. They are connected to my RAIM prefect. Whatever you do, just please don't move them, okay?
Short and terse. There you have it. Whatever she's used.
Great.
Еще раз сохраняемся, потому что много
Yes,
диалогов.
what is it?
но мы-
You really like those questions, don't you? I'm conducting scientific research here. You can't throw me out.
Она любит задавать вопросы. Я полицейский, задавать вопросы — моя работа.
I'm looking for the location of a 2mm hole in the world.
Wait, what? She's looking for a disruption in the radio waves. That's what her personal log said. The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything.
Yes, that's what led me here. But I suspect it might be something a bit more complicated than that. Exactly. What does it mean? Up to now, it has been impossible to say what it is because it's impossible to measure nothing. What do you think it is? What qualities does nothing have? How do you measure something that does not exist?
Она ждет ответа. Я не знаю ответа.
That's a little above your pay grade. at
Да,
the
да.
moment.
I don't know. Are we? That's what I'm trying to figure out here. But how do I figure it out? You measure it by its surroundings, by that which does exist, which is what I've been trying to do. I tried using hydro transducers to record the silence, to find out where it begins.
Ah, hydro transducers. So that's what those water basins are. Devices for recording sound through water.
But honestly, it's not progressing very well. Somewhere underneath those roof beams, I assume.
Only a faint crisscross of rafters can be made out from the dark. Most of the tower disappearing into the shade.
There's this place at the back of the church, a place where all audible vibrations seem to decease. I've named it the Swallow. And
The Pillar of Silence? Are you sure it's not just an architectural quirk?
Maybe, but it's oddly close to the physical coordinates of the data loss that led me to this place. I know.
Это место, где живет человек-краб.
No, I don't. Because it's just trial and error, trying to locate the Swallow, the exact point in space. And I don't have a... You know what? It would be really helpful if you could just stop talking and let me work. Great. Thanks. Yes, what is it? The Swallow, you mean? Great. Thanks. What? I hate it.
I bet she hasn't even heard it.
Yeah. Like all the time. My tent neighbors don't really ease up with their partying, do they? Maybe I'd have to be on drugs to get it, but to a sober mind it just sounds like uninspired rug whipping. No idea what it has to do with either dancing or music. This is about those speed freaks in the tent, isn't it? I've got some news for you. It's not a nightclub they want to build here.
Что?
Take a guess, why don't you?
Молодежный центр было бы неплохо. Контактный зоопарк, отличное место, какое-нибудь общественное пространство для помощи пожилым людям. Я уверен, что они все-таки хотят открыть ночной клуб, любить одного танцевальную музыку. Мне сказали, что это их мечта.
I can't believe they got you so easily. Go have another talk with those up-and-coming entrepreneurs, will you?
Good luck. I'm not coming in there.
Помогите Риверам открыть Андрей мнение Соны по поводу ночного клуба. Ну, они не очень обрадуются этому мнению, если честно. Так, а мы здесь можем к ним спустить?
Hi again. So, how are things going? And? What happened? Oh man, the crab man you mean? Who is he? What did you think? Really? Huh, interesting. What's he doing in the church? No matter. Is he gonna be a problem? Yeah, Noid is right. Let's get back.
These guys will never catch him. You will never catch him. There's nothing to do.
I don't know, man. Doesn't it feel like a major hindrance to you? A spooky guy climbing around when all the guests are trying to have nice, friendly hyper time?
I guess it's not a massive problem now that
Everyone is welcome. Maybe. I guess we'll figure something out. Okay, but a programmer? That's odd. What was she like? Come on, man. Who will you trust? A spooky programmer or us? We just want to make the world a better place. Feel the love! Get down and feel it!
A half-hearted sell of something which does not seem worth buying.
You'll get there, believe me. When we've got our gear set. Anyway, now that it's settled,
What a pity. That's my favourite thing in the world. And she doesn't like it at all.
a shame. What can we do now? Do you see a way out of this jam and into a laser-lit future of dance and unity?
Unity! Dance!
And you can't just evict her?
Ну, вообще-то я могу попробовать еще раз обрушить на нее молот правосудия.
Look at you, honor man.
No, Noid. He's right. Maybe we've approached it the wrong way after all. I'm sure there's a workaround. We can make a... If that's okay with her, we only want to get in...
The line's in the dark!
At least Crabman seems like an advanced being.
Yeah, he can do his climbing thing in the tower. And the programmer, does she like anodic dance music?
Egghead cannot believe what you just said. Makes him pump the jam a little slower for a moment, but then he returns to the full swing of it.
No worries. We'll figure it out. If coexisting fails, you can always muscle her out, right? If it's all okay with you. Excellent! Good luck, my friend. He's a quiet man, mostly communicates through music. And, well, he's just kind of here. Yeah, sometimes. When I, stumble and find my way into his center...
The man smiles mysteriously. I get it. He's a puzzle.
Yes. What? Yeah, good to have. Bitch. Oh. It's the one they sell at the fuel station.
It's like he's lying to you, my lord. But he's slippery enough that there's nothing for you to grab hold of.
The what now? Oh, the old Ultra. We,
He's like an actor. Looking to the souffleur for his line.
Ну давай, ну давай, импровизируй.
I have a major sinus infection. Stuffy nose. We all do. Shit's... Yes, that's all Nosefed's doing. Without the noser, I'd be drowning in shit right now.
Nosefed is the shit.
Yes. What?
He nods enthusiastically. No doubt, a little.
Goodbye, officer.
Hi again. So, how are things going?
A number of things don't add up. Let's take a look.
Ну давай разберемся.
How about gather around, kids? The young speed freak puts down a busted capacitor and looks at you. The one with the large head seems very enthusiastic about
Ну что ж,
whatever
детишки,
you
давайте
have
расскажу
planned.
вам сказку.
Their would-be leader is less amused.
Давным-давно, не знаю когда и как, я заболел и превратился в тень, что сейчас перед вами, но у меня есть основания полагать, что до того, как это случилось, я был детективом полиции.
But you still are.
Спасибо на добром слове, но всем и так понятно, что я позор мундир. Я достаточно неплохо справился с флитер, пока мог стать капитаном,
What
представляете?
happened? I've been trying to say if we need the next step in dance music to happen fast.
Shut it.
What? I have. I've said that.
Ну что ж, даже если с того момента прошло 1000 лет, во мне еще кое-что осталось от
The
прежнего
young
детектива.
speed freak is silent.
Он говорит, что вы врете по поводу ваших планов, твой ответ был очень убедительным.
I have no idea how you arrived at that conclusion, but it's wrong. Look, we even have speakers.
One speaker. They have one speaker.
Один динамик, один. Здорово, герой.
What do you mean, friend?
Второй динамик, у вас ведет только
It's a
один.
one-speaker system.
Ну да,
It's
да.
monodynamic. You
Мгм.
wouldn't know the first thing about sound reproduction in anodic music. Other
Чата нет, потому что в
speaker.
него никто не пишет, герой. Поэтому его и нет. И тебя здесь нет, и никого здесь нет.
This may be the brain damage talking, but you've definitely never heard of monodynamic or one-speaker systems.
Как я все разрулил, да, моментально с твоим чатом, герой? Вот так вот надо проблемы решать. Быстро и точка. Ну, естественно. Все максимально просто. Ты там как еще, не в Казахстане? Заходил в Казахстан? А, ну молодец. А, про Макдак. Я периодически у них покушиваю. Мне вот как бы то, что они сейчас готовят, нравится больше, чем то, что было до того, как Макдак ушел. Потому что у них меню откатилось на пару лет назад, когда оно мне нравилось.
What do you know about spinning tape? Nothing. I'm sorry, but there is no lab equipment and no drug ingredients.
He said it was for his nose. What more do you want?
Likely pseudoephedrine, almost exactly the shape of ephedrine. Ephedrine makes you happy, and so does pseudoephedrine.
And of all cellular-based life, what's your point, Lawbringer?
No shit. That's... Come on, that's...
Нелепо, незаконно, карается расстрелом на месте. Но я свалил в KFC, картошка там отвратная, их лимонад, который типа внутреннего изготовления. Я не беру никогда эти. Я все время беру милкшейк, который, кстати, вкуснее, чем был. И Липтон зеленый. Липтон зеленый все такой же, милкшейк вкуснее. Картошку я никогда не беру. Но если и беру, то деревенскую, не, я очень давно картошку не беру. Я обычно беру ну, сейчас у них что получается? У них сейчас роялы. Роял и Роял Делюкс, и все. Пирожки у них у всех одинаковые абсолютно. Там просто начинки разные. А так это та же самая фритюрная хрень.
I meant to say, not true. What do you mean, do?
There's resignation in his voice. He's almost ready to drop the act. It wouldn't take a lot of pushing.
What do you mean by lenient? Okay, man, okay. Things are just so hard for an entrepreneur in this city right now. It's not like we lied when we
Надо,
said
блин,
we wanna turn the
discoelysium
church
пройти.
the wickedest club in East
Срочно.
Weatherspool.
Только Якудза игр не пройдено, а тут еще подвалит скоро. Ну, не скоро, но... Ну, в принципе, Judgment и оба уже есть, просто в них не поиграть. Потом этот Ишин подъедет еще. Но мне про древнюю Японию не интересно особо. Но, в принципе, как вариант... Да древняя. Там пиздец. Средневековая. Там прям вообще. Там пещерные люди. И Кирюха.
Because we do! We totally do!
Там с мамонтами воевать. Ну там, короче, как Far Cry Primal, только якутс.
We just need to turn it into a speed lab before.
Плюс путешествие во времени. И киберпанк. И вкусная точка.
To get our foot in the door.
Like I told you, spooky arseholes moved in. What? No, man. They're spooky, all right.
But the sign was way off too!
Sir, you promised you'd be lenient.
This is it. Judgment time.
Без лотереи ничего не выйдет. Примерно 1870 год где-то. Ну, если он где-то, ну так пока не найдут его, мне это не интересно. Где-то он. Ну где он? Ну вот где он? Герой, где? Конкретнее. Где он? Куда ты его дел? На улице, блин, уже второй день дожди нахуярит. В прошлом? Ну, охерительно. Тут еще перемещение во времени теперь. Давай, что мы с ними будем делать? Выгоним их или арестуем? Потому что с лабораторией мы продолжать не будем, и клуб тоже они делать не будут. Какой из них, блядь, клубешник? Взятку я с них тоже брать не хочу. Арестовывать? Допустим, ты арестовывать, я бы их просто выгнал. А давай посмотрим, что с ними будет. А кто это вообще у нас? Помогите рейверам открыть ночной клуб. Я бы... Представить, вручить повестку. Ну давай без этого, пожалуйста. Тут сейчас он, я видел, уже слухи ходят, что сейчас, когда эти блядские референдумы проведут, тут объявят как бы все, военное положение и все. И по пизде все пойдет. Границы закроют и всей стороной идут воевать. Тут как бы, блядь, когда читаешь эти новости, думаешь, какой пиздец все-таки, а? Так. Ну, то есть логика, да, такая, что типа в понимании нашего Санцеликова это становится частью российской территории, на российскую территорию нападают, это что значит? Правильно, военное положение. Ой, блядь. Лет 5 назад, да я даже в феврале не верил, что это может произойти. Да, тут, конечно... Блять, ёбаный... Да не хочу это изображение. Изображение меня не хочет. Отстань от меня. Там аниме по Нир Автомата собирается выпускать героя. Мы тут можем, блядь, через неделю все на войне умереть, а ты тут аниме, блин, какое-то ждешь. Ну ебаный в рот. Вот что ты за человек, ну? Да я без нервов об этом абсолютно говорю. Я абсолютно спокойно об этом говорю. И все. А ты сразу ругаешься на меня. Ну зачем ты так? Сразу на меня ругается. Давай сразу меня это... Давай меня сразу обижать, конечно, давай. Легко творческую личность обидеть. Короче... собирайте, тащите свои задницы. Но у меня так-то тоже отпускных там дней 20 еще осталось, которые я на декабрь, как обычно, откладывал, чтобы на Новый год пораньше уйти.
No, please! There needs to be a club for Nordic music in there. Everyone hates each other. Everybody hates it.
He looks almost as old as you.
We need a win. I promise you this will be a win. We won't cook speed in there. We'll do it clean. We'll do it true. We'll do it sober and real and beautiful. This will be a victory for the light.
Чувак, шикарная речь. Шикарная. Кажется, я передумал.
No! What does that even mean?
Fuck, man. You said you'd be lenient. What happens at the station? Fine. I guess we're truly done.
The would-be leader pulls out a card from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. The name reads Pete Andre. His friend hands you his papers. The name reads Carl Holtzman.
Jermaine van der Wijk.
I guess that's that.
Pack it up, Egg.
Я просто могу не отпустить, потому что, ну да. Так-то сейчас там все эти беглецы наши через Самару как раз в Казахстан и валят. Так что... Опа, и все.
Yes?
Это самая указательница. Я побрился.
Yes. I don't know what to say. Perhaps. No, it's okay, I guess. I may have preferred the mutton chops. They sort of seem to cover.
Они прикрывали вот это вот. То, что у тебя вот, да.
Either way, good on you. You were saying?
Так, ну, с этими наркобарыгами мы разобрались. Они точнее, не барыги, они эти. Собирались его делать, хотя, может, и продавать, в принципе. А мог бы организовать им клуб? А мог бы ты пойти нахуй? И тем не менее, мы оба здесь.
Yes, what is it? You arrested them? Didn't think the cops in this place had it in them.
Тем не менее, да, тем не менее. Так, на самом деле не так много-то тут этого всего этого. В смысле, потеряна среда. Завершено, 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 потеряно. Нет, герой. По поводу Ханта можешь ко мне вообще не обращаться. Мне эта игра не нравится практически совсем. Я говорю, если ты хочешь в Хант, то это к Веному. Он играет в него без перерыва, поэтому... Хотя Веном последний раз в сети был 7 дней назад, а это нам как бы говорит о чем-то. Убито людей 3. Раскрыт дело 216, года службы 18 лет. Честь 1, хороший коп, плохой коп 20. Либерал, фашист, коммунист, коп зануда, жалкий коп. Жалкий коп у меня преобладает. Коп апокалипсиса, коп суперзвезда. Не, ну я переигрывать с этими наркоманами не буду. Ну, реально просто как бы играем, значит, это затянется эти переигрывания ебучие. Так, сейчас у меня какой приоритет вообще по работе? Купите треники, в чем заключается загадка рас. Это мне интересно. Информация Джойс. Но хочешь вам что-то рассказать, нужно ли показать удостоверение, она поделится информацией, или, возможно, если вы окажетесь ее услугам, закроет глаза на информацию. Там не было, должны знать, что известно. Кто такая, блядь, Джойс? А, это баба на корабле. Это баба на корабле. Показать удостоверение, а удостоверение... А я нашел удостоверение? Я, по-моему, же нашел свое удостоверение. Оно у меня где-нибудь вообще отображается? Да, удостоверение есть, отлично. Тогда мы можем к ней идти. Но идти до нее это через всю карту, блядь. Так, ладно, это мы... Карта Джойс. Достаточно информация, полная. Будете копию карты города. Где у нас можно взять копию карты города? Ну-ка. Это сильно бы упростило мне передвижение по локациям. Где найти карту? Сейчас найдем. Естественно, загорелась какая-то блядская реклама на этом блядском сайте. Где найти карту? Все довольно просто. Карту discoelysium вы можете купить в книжном магазине. Сам же магазин... А, ну все. Окей, книжный магазин, я знаю, где располагается. Но опять же, до него сейчас придется колупать полдня. Колупать полдня, а может быть даже 2. Может быть даже 3. А может быть даже не дойдем. Почему Ким впереди паровоза бежит? Ким, ты что, здесь главный, что ли? Ким, ты теперь за главного, что ли, Ким? Я не понял. Машинка моя немножечко лежит. Единственное, я так и не нашел этого чела, который здесь застрял, когда мы эту плотину не могли активировать, которого баба в отеле ищет. Так, где у нас карта? Где можно купить-то? Это у нас чего?
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous.
Не-не-не, игры нам не нужны. О, книжка
The
пропала.
display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular sword. Several maps have been
О,
attached
карты.
to a bulletin board hidden inside the
А
alcove.
сколько у меня? 20,
Held
почти
up by
25
small
рублей.
pins, the board has come loose from one corner. The maps look old and faded. Your eye catches a map of Insulinda, a map of Revachol, and a map of Martinez. This large map, Ozon, Laurenta, disintegrating into mathematics. In the northeast, a dust mite stands on the north coast of Caillou, in a bookstore. You can, on 850, the ocean breaks apart into a tangle of
О,
coastlines and
Самара!
azimuths, all pointing into pale
А, ну, по-моему, это
nothingness.
уже, да, это уже
Windy
озвучивали, что здесь
is
есть
the
в этом
north
мире Самара.
azimuth. Grad is the northeast azimuth. Samara is the east azimuth. Seo is the west azimuth. Isolas.
Самара — это вечная величина. Она существует везде и всегда, вне пространства и вне времени. Мистер Дюбуа, да.
You have little idea what they are. Perhaps they are gods. The north coast to the east, Huron. It's so no. It's not really a map. Still, it's deep.
I'm sorry, officer. The map of Martinez is the only one available. The other two are not for sale anymore. And besides, you could scarcely afford them.
Ничего себе, это сколько они его стоят?
Valuable, though they might not look it. The map of Martinez is 90 cents, though.
Почему карта Мартинеса так дешевая? Потому что нахуй никому не нужна.
It's an out-of-date map of a tourist location that never was nor came to be. From when some design studio people tried to spruce the place up 4 or 5 years ago, they also renovated the horse statue, set up those coin-operated viewers, and designed the new street lamps.
The place does not look like a successful tourist trap, does it?
They didn't get that far, for some reason.
Техника, сложно. Украсть ее. А может быть, не украсть, а убить хозяйку магазина, а? Как такое, а? Я думаю, шансов-то побольше будет. У меня есть пистолет, даже винтовка. Так, теперь у нас есть Папау! Карта. Но только мы к ней все равно не можем. А как? Или это fast travel все равно нет? Это просто показывает, где кто находится? Ну это же хуйня полная, постная какая-то, 5-кратно переваренный кал и вообще отстой. А тебе сказали, что карта говно. Но я думал, что она говно просто по качеству, а не то, что через нее фастревелиться нельзя будет. Но это уже какой-то новый уровень говна. Говняной апокалипсис какой-то. О, мы можем взаимодействовать. Ну-ка. Ща.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Где это не то? Где? Во.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinez, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Here, your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinez North. Finally, coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing, although the map gives no such indication itself.
Интересно, а он бы в любом месте, где я стоял, бы сказал, что карта останавливается в той точке, где я сейчас нахожусь? Или я действительно так угадал? Думаю, маловероятно.
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
Ну, это как бы просто дает расположение людей, но я и так помню, где кто находится. Мне бы к ним быстро фастревелиться, вот это действительно полезная функция была бы. А просто знать, где кто стоит, ну такое. Если бы они как-то перемещались по городу, и мне действительно нужно было знать, где кто в данный момент находится, тогда да.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? I'm afraid I can't say any more until we've taken care of formal protocol.
Вы не поверите, я нашел свое удостоверение.
Did you? Wonderful.
Quickly, methodically, like an electric printing machine.
It is a relief to see a W freighter here. The situation is precarious, to say the least. It needs a quick solution, or we will have a bloodbath on our hands. Yes, I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershoal West.
И здесь тоже, блин, война. Черт бы побрал.
Since you are sharing, man, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be. I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security deed. They were dispatched after I relayed the union's initial offer.
Every worker...
A member of the board. I tried to convince my employer it was simply a piece of rhetoric, or a joke. They did not appreciate the humor. Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenell, an Oranese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating.
Как герой. Один момент. Так. Чувак на дефе сказал, что в тиране нашел момент, который можно реально наложить, типа, зашел проверять отлично, тут такая же тема развивается, что в реале. В тиране, блядь. Но в Spec Ops там не совсем то, что у нас происходит, конечно. Там, конечно, войнушка, военные преступления, все дела, но там не совсем то, но согласен, да. Что за уши притянуть можно много где.
They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night. Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses
То есть тот
to let
чувак
me
на
into the
дереве это
harbour. I
полковник
have not
каких-то
been able to
наемников.
discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining two
Но
Crenell
теперь это просто
contractors
опухший
carry
труп
out
в
their
трусах.
orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
На самом деле, я когда хотел начать проходить Disco Elysium, я себе как-то по-другому представлял. А здесь, по большому счету, игра — это просто раскрытие одного дела. Ну, плюс какие-то сайд-квестики, истории и так далее. Но по большому счету вся игра — это раскрытие одного убийства.
Racing towards some dark deadline.
It was the Union who strung him from that tree. My hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before Crenell indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put, if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching.
The débardeurs have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Serai's giant hornet, the world's second largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
These men work in tandem
Вот зачем мне эта
using
информация?
semi-automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
As I said, a bloodbath.
Ким — это та самая великая резня, про которую я говорил.
Too many things have already gone wrong. Lieutenant Double Yefrata Dubois. All we can do is keep that which is not from following suit. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation. Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell,
Фига, кто он вообще кто? Лейтенант двойной ефрейтор Дебо?
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however.
Там же нам этот Ким объяснял, что его звание значит. Типа то, что он двойной ефрейтор, это то, что его 2 раза пытались повысить, и он 2 раза отказался. То есть его хотели повысить до капитана, но он 2 раза отказался, поэтому он лейтенант двойной ефрейтор.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Ну то, что усы сбил, дурак. Да неправда, он стал выглядеть гораздо солиднее, похож на человека. И не усы, а бакенбарды. Усы-то хрен бы с ними, а вот бакенбарды...
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources. If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ICP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenel. I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
She's being truthful. She is pressing them as hard as she can.
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it. The remaining contractors, their tribunal, it's what they believe. That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook.
Версия рабочая. Так и запишем.
We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him. That's a good question, officer.
Мы знаем эту женщину, мы с ней разговаривали.
As I said, it's a rumor. About a rumor. If you mean did I see him alive? Yes. But I did not know him. Lely, his service name, a nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one. One is a man, Corty, they call him, a nickname as well. The other a woman, Phyllis DePaul. Corty is the gunner, I believe. DePaul is a radio.
Не. Или да. Да не, бред какой-то.
What would you say was his eye color, the deceased?
She closes her eyes, trying to picture the man's face, then shakes her head.
I can't remember.
The lieutenant was testing her, asking a small detail first to see if she knew him better than she let on. She passed.
That's all right, man. Anything else? Nationality? What would you say was his age?
He was 40 or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age or gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own. In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Ну, мы с таким точно не встречались.
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out. For one, They're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting. That's wise. Our goal is to avert catastrophe. Besides, you're likely to encounter them sooner or later.
Ну это да. Сколько у нас времени?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative. It's a matter of days, not weeks. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help, of course. Excuse my hesitation before.
Я и забыл про татуировки, я же тоже, да, хотел она. А, это я хотела, а она не хотела. Ну и так, слово за слово, и понеслось.
For about half a minute, in silence.
It was taken with a trigette not long ago. This is the man's upper body. There were no more markings on his hands or legs.
Her mouth is relaxed. The accordion lines near her mouth vanish. The pearls of her eyes move slowly on the photo's surface.
Sorry. I was trying to see if I can read the web of interdependencies between these points, the stars. I can't. But that's how you read this story. The points themselves don't have letters, numbers, anything. Their size, location on the body, and distance from each other tells you what they represent. Close. Port cities. This is an Oronese map of the waterways, a sailor's tattoo worn by wayfarers of the Dolorian century. Over 300 years ago, the sailors would mark their bodies to map their travels. The sailor's soul would use it to fly back home if they should die abroad. This is a sort of contraption to be reeled back in by. The silver cord, they would call it. Quite a few. Vredefort, the Oronese capital, traditionally stands on the right shoulder. He started somewhere near here, I think.
What next?
Then he made his way to the Preto Grande, through what I think must be the Stutz Canal, an artificial channel through the Occident. From the Preto, he sailed to the Insulindic Ocean, first the Semines Islands, then this. Revachol. Those are the two constants. Vredefort on the shoulder, and Revachol in the heart. They started the tradition of these maps right after the discovery of Insulinde, at the dawn of the Inter-Islary Age.
The old world passing by, and the new world already here.
You said you can't read it.
I can't. This man was no sailor, and these are no ports. I can understand geographic fragments, but not their meaning.
In Martinez, looking into Krenon, he writes in one. Then the man puts down his pen and rubs his temples with both hands. Outside, there is a siren. Distant gunshots on the streets of the Jamrock Quarter. Vredefort? Vredefort has a military academy. The Semines Islands saw a recent conflict. In Revachol, he was executed.
That makes sense to me. We have no more use for a map of the waterways, just like we don't need sailors the way we used to. This is what the custom would morph into on the Occident. Mercenary tattoos.
For all the boys looking for adventure, a blood spatter on the seas.
His platoon members? The other contractors. Though I do not suggest you go and show them that picture. This man was their friend and comrade.
Да ладно, что может случиться?
You wouldn't even know where to start.
Is there anything else I can help?
Так, что у меня там за новое появилось? Татуировки жертвы. Спросить еще кого-нибудь о том, что могут значить эти татуировки. А у кого я могу поспрашивать о том, что значат эти татуировки? У татуировщика здесь нет таких. Может, это бездомная дрянь знает? Нет, старуха вряд ли вообще хоть что-то знает.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
Не, прости. Так, а у кого мы можем поспрашивать? А, у нас же есть один татуированный амбал. Как раз с которым там еще сайт-квест есть. Он-то про татуировки знает все.
Officer!
I have really outdone myself.
Yes, that's what you need, Gaston.
René, it's a little pleasures. Hello, officer. How might I be of assistance on this fine day?
Выглядит очень вкусно, показать на сэндвич. Можно откусить?
Oh, sweet Jenny. She was the finest woman in all of Revachol. Maybe the entire world.
Do not defile her memory, Gaston. Let her rest in peace.
We knew her, all right. Lived on the same street our entire lives, just 2 houses apart. The 3 of us have been best friends since we were 4. She was René's first girl back when the prick was 16. They were courting till he decided he'd rather die for some great ideal than just be happy.
And then you stole her from me.
Oh, officer. It already got ugly nearly 80 years ago when the 3 of us were just learning to walk and talk.
You stole her from me.
Well, technically, you stole her from me, because we'd been pretty close ever since you two had that falling out over the ink you spilled over her pretty yellow dress.
We were just boys then. This was different. No point starting this all over again. For the 1000th and the...
She died of pneumonia 2 winters ago. It was a quiet passage. René and I were both by her bedside when she...
died. No use sugarcoating it.
Departed. Until the very hand she couldn't decide between us. The most indecisive woman I've had.
Хорошо устроилась.
She could never make up her mind about anything. What to have for breakfast, favorite color, or which one of us to marry. She was always leaving one of us for the other, but never long enough to actually get married. Heck, technically, we're both still engaged to her.
You always confused her. Couldn't let us be happy. Seduced her with your fancy words and pastries.
He suddenly remembers you are still there.
Of course, officer. Memories are all we have left. Let me think. I heard someone was hanged and left on a tree for a week. But that's all I know, really. No, officers, I'm sorry.
Then help them, you wimp. You have plenty of shoulder with the ghost caviar in the Union.
He means caviar socialists.
Икорных социалистов.
I wish I could, but I just don't know anything. I always keep my nose clean and don't gossip. Everyone knows and respects that.
Odd. He doesn't seem to be lying, but there's something off here.
I'm not even anyone.
Of course he's holding back. His mouth is so full of union pricks.
Елдаков профсоюзных в рот набрал. Ну, это, конечно, вообще жестко про него.
Can I at least finish my fucking sentence before you piss on it? Is that okay, René? I'm not anyone impotent in the Union. I just know Evrard. Everyone in Martinez knows the Clare brothers. I taught these boys human studies and history.
What do you know about history? You never witnessed history. Only heard about it years later, when it had already moved on. You don't know history.
The old soldier mumbles something under his breath and turns to face the sea. There he stands, proud, rigid and alone, like a cracking marble statue.
Let's try not to get caught in a crossfire.
Oh, in many ways, yes. Like an honorary member. I attend meetings and parties. Oh, yes. Not in the technical sense. I don't have a vote or a membership card, but...
So that's what it was before. Him hiding something. He tries to make it look like he doesn't know anything.
Of course he's not a member. I hate this socialist rabble.
Writing work mostly. Oh, nothing official.
Well, he tells his little penman...
I don't even consider myself a regular socialist. Politics is not really something I involve myself in, officer. I believe everyone...
Mon Dieu.
No, thank you.
Не буду я у него сэндвич кусать, пусть, блин, ест свой сэндвич, блядь. Так, что я хотел? А, татуировщик. И не татуировщик, а татуированный чел. А, погоди, у меня же это есть. Пощадная самокритика. Подполье. Жемевю. Жемебю. А, так вот, современная расовая теория у меня же есть уже открыта. Ну-ка, давай мы его это...
Do not presume this has drastically altered our race dynamic. Our personal dynamic has changed a little. And...
Погоди. Погоди, что я там в итоге выяснил-то? Решение твоего внимания сказано тот факт, что ты алкоголик, что это болезнь, и она тебя убивает. Ты полезешь по жизни на коленях, волоча землю, раздутые браги брюха, твои мысли голубым, волосы слиплись от сегодняшней испарины, вчерашней блевоты, наверное, действительно правы, что угодно лучше, чем такое, даже суровая реальность. Может, вы сумеете бросить? Погоди, это не то вообще я читал. Все спокойно в центре расовой бури, твой разум прозрачно чист, сбивающий с толку филогенетика кажется все более далекой, будет честно, довольно смехотворно. Великая расовая загадка разгадана, осталось только сформулировать свои мысли. Ступай и поговори с Голомером. Угу. Ну, то есть, у меня просто появились варианты ответов, и все. То есть, по сути...
Look, babe. The minion of law is also a racist. But his racism is basic and rote.
So unadvanced.
So unadvanced.
The basic race education he received in high school has led him to think his phylum are the sole authors of race theory. Unless you could have used this opportunity to overcome your narrow Al-Ghul ravaged. Take solace.
Damn.
Damn! Я знал, что надо ответить, я просто специально ответил неправильно, чтобы... Ну вы поняли, короче, все нормально, все нормально. Это не он, это не я тупой, это он тупой.
Do not presume this our person and fascinating. The Revacholian degenerate shows signs of racial self-reflection. How did you accomplish this little feat? So it would seem, Thrall of Rule. On one hand, this pathetic self-therapy has little to do with the great mystery of living organisms. And, of course, you will not be able to free yourself from the yoke of rule. If the Revacholian degenerate is capable of critical thought, he may prove a raise advantage.
Jean, baby, you did the heroic thing.
That is not possible. The game of Shahmat you play against the rule streaks is unwinnable. The days, the weeks, the months will wear you out. You will not. You cannot withstand.
It's super hard, Jean. My mom couldn't do it either.
Let's go, officer. Let's go do...
Где? Это еще с какого дня вообще? В чем заключается загадка раз? Завершено, да. Так, ну это получается еще одно дело раскрыто. А, по поводу татуировок мы с ним больше...
Racist.
Welcome. He must. The drawings are precise and look true to their pseudo-scientific.
Correct.
Так, с ним на эту тему мы ничего не разузнали. Это печально.
So, how'd you like our harbor?
You've been in there, he means. Talked to the boss man too, probably.
It's but a rest area on the path leading across open plains. Right, you talk to the boss, eye to eye, like men of the plain. The mercenary, eh? Who could have killed him? That's indeed the question. Why even do such a thing? What a thought! Why would noble workers resort to such a thing? Your dead guy was an enemy combatant. He was an agent of the opposition, attempting to undermine our honorable efforts. I ain't the murdering type, but that's just me. Large organizations like our union have all sorts of men. with all sorts of skills.
He's not lying about not doing it himself.
Понятное дело. Стал бы нам об этом рассказывать, если бы это он сделал.
Understood. This has been of limited use. Still, thank you.
No problem. I wish...
Погоди, это я получил новую информацию? То есть, кто сложил? Кстати, да, надо это... Надо позвонить еще этой самой, ну той самой, вот этой самой, той самой. Именно ей надо позвонить, и никому другому.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and...
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you?
Погоди, Алиса, это же этот... Значит, день, чтобы получить информацию.
Not yet, but I was able to convince the database people to share private sector information. They promised to get back to me by tomorrow morning. Do you have any other... Just a moment.
10-4, come in, officer. Over. 10-4, sir, glad to hear that. I'll write down that there is no need to...
Feels good to get that off your chest, right?
Празднуем пивком.
Roger that, 10-10, over and out.
The white your fingers waste no time closing around the hand. You feel an uninterrupted connection to the mechanics. After a while, you realize silence is your only answer. Do it. Of course it's only in your head. Of course it is. The smell of freshly... I'm good, cherished and cared for, in the hands of a tender at the bottom of the sea. So strange. The machine is not on the bottom of the sea at all. It's... The handle is pulled back. In the cabin, you see a set
про свою машину, которая... Ну, не на дне океана, но как бы торчит наполовину из воды.
The soft glow of the fuel preheated.
Yes?
Не, ничего. Блин, этот Куна, сука, рот его наоборот, блин, пацан придурочный. Так, провести вскрытие. А чем я буду проводить вскрытие? Мне нечем проводить вскрытие.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Mundi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Ты че, не знаешь, какой от тебя толк?
You must have me confused with the Copperpedia. You, sir, you are the Copperpedia.
Fine. It's a 3-part form to be filled out on the scene by the detectives responsible. One takes note, the other dictates. The goal is to establish cause of death. A scalpel is not always required. I hope this is one of those cases. Latex gloves are, however. There truly is a time for everything, even for yellow gardening gloves. However, they are lacking hygienically. I suggest you get in there in limited capacity. I'll ask you when I need you to. For the most part, maybe I should handle the contact and you take... Yes, you see, the field autopsy form is the one on red copier paper.
Мертвец, ответь-ка мне на один вопрос.
The dead man stares in silence as you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with...
That's you.
Первый ассистент, это вы. Гарье, Дебуа, лейтенант, дважды ефрейтор. Вписать сумерки.
The corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says
KK57 dash.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals precinct. That's because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
Next. We've heard the nom de guerre, Lely. What's next? NA. Roughly 50.
Мистер Дюбуа.
Dry force.
Гарье
The damage is
Дюбуа.
so extensive, it's better to
Лейтенант,
do it
дважды
from the
ефрейтор, я бы попросил.
He nods.
Mondial.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Mwindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish. The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial.
Fucky, fucky!
Male.
Pigs can have sex?
Ёбаный, блин, ёбки мелкий. Записать пошла жара, записать мужской, записать не заглянешь, не узнаешь.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
We're still going with March 4th. What else? 9. Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
KK57.
None. At least not after the initial examination. Interfering with the body's position or wounds post-mortem. They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-Delorian burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform. Then, somewhere in Jamrock North, a small wood shed behind Rosencrantz Row, Lieutenant Nick Feuerbach puts his hand to the chest of a small corpse, no larger than a monkey. It's rain elsewhere yet. An obese female sits in a wicker chair, her silhouette bull-like against the window. Outside, Grand Coudon. The day is turning dim for Sergeant Mac Dawson. Hand extended, he approaches, to make sure she is dead more than anything else. And so, all across Jamrock, Coal City, GRIH, 42 deceased persons found today, 42 stations of breath.
We should start the post-mortem.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of box
clothes. The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodin, I think.
Точно, может быть. Кельвин Кляйн? Нет?
See, it's happening.
Babrodin, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting
Рыжее чудовище, явно ожидал чего-то пожестче.
The boots are ceramic, vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing. The boot has a serial number. It's E50.100.100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design. Tattoos. The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo, resembling a map of the night sky. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white. The assistant has a color photograph of the markings, to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene, using a Trigat Mini. The deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color, yellow. Length, 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end. Well-nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature, below freezing. Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short. Lividity is consistent with hanging. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs. Consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
Fucking low velocity? You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max! Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest. Consistent with predation.
Записать, но исправить скорость на высокую.
Ligature mark.
Надо достать маленьких соотношений, но фрейме свободно, например, скинить. А, вонь стоит просто неописуемая, через некоторое время становится ясно, что разрез не удастся.
Still wiring. There's too much of it. We need to remove the bell so we can get to the ligature mark.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Always good to think ahead. Now, we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully.
See? My pig is gonna fuck his head off.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread. The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts, and it should come loose.
Блять, 72%, ну по-любому сейчас проебусь. Я же говорю, блять, меня вот раздражает просто. Я там при 30% могу сразу попасть, но при 72, сука, ну 72%, блядь. Ой, блядь. Ебать копать.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck that. Told you my pig was hardcore.
I should have a go first. I think I have a strategy.
He sinks the cutters into the knot, preparing to perform the cuts, with his elbow to his knee for precision. Snap. The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
Here. The rope rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck. Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters. Chest is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant. Pelvis intact. Genitalia...
No! Let's get up and see!
I fucking knew it!
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Изучить гениталии.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities
Вот
are
мистер
intact,
Лох
but
изучил бы
asymmetrical.
гениталии,
There
но
are
я не
combat
мистер Лох.
injuries on
Ты
the
не
right
прав.
hand, thigh, and hip. In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count.
Да они
covering
наркоманы
about
и
30%
уебаные, да
of
и
his
выглядят
skin.
как дети, на самом деле дегенераты еще те.
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
We have a real museum here. Last item, hands. Hands are clean. No sign of a recent struggle. I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment. Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next? Central nervous system. I have nothing. Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Нет, у меня
Of
ничего по
course,
поводу
there
его
is
нет.
a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
What would that be?
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not injury related. Eyes and tongue protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently. A rotting smell erupts. You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers
Довольно
inside the
подробно
flesh,
описывают, блин,
like
мерзко,
the
сука, я
creaking
только
of an
поел.
old house.
Ну что это такое? Я же только поел.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Respiratory system. Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips. Hepatobiliary. NA. Same for toxicology and serology. NA. Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity. Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging. Gastrointestinal.
Пиздец, Ким, дотошный, сука, вообще. Я бы ничего из этого не увидел. Я бы увидел, ну, труп, ну, повесили. Все.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila. What's next on the list? Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Так, посмотрим. Мы имеем следы укусов, кровоподтеки на голове и груди, и странгуляционную борозду вокруг шеи. Это 3 строчки. Оставьте 4-ю для...
Oh, so we inflicted them?
Это была командная работа.
Okay, so there's an incision on the thorax from a chain cutter. I wouldn't mention it. Better not to muddy the waters.
See? These pigs are fucking corrupt.
Why don't you fuck him if you love him so much?
Now, injuries. Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted. And your opinion, officer?
Так, в груди имеет следы от укуса, повреждения, нанесенные птицами, не является причиной смерти.
Agreed. Next injury. So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. A perpetrator on the scene
At maximum velocity, fucko!
has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Фако. Он еще добавит в конце.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man.
Right. Next, a dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
Why do you say that? Okay. Why don't you think it was fatal? Honestly, I'm not sure there weren't marks on his wrist. That part got blurry for me. The stench. But you are right, I was ready to call this. Now I think we should leave it empty, at least for the time being. Let's wrap this up. I pronounce this field autopsy over. It was an irregular field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But personally, I do not see this as a parameter for We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail.
Oh yeah, well done.
Опять электрохимия.
Maybe a drink.
Сука, заебал.
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg for processing.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Shoot, Looney Rooney. Come back later, Corporal. Amuse yourself with my frank manners and my memento mori features. If
the man is decomposed. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
Восприятие, да? Ну я могу себе восприятие, сука, так, сука, восприятие, что мое восприятие всех воспримет. Где оно? А, во, восприятие. Я сейчас воспринял это все максимально серьезно.
The man is deep. The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
28%. Это уже мое почтение, я считаю. Правильно? Правильно. Мы делаем, короче, квиксейв. И будем дрочить, пока не надрочим. Мне на победу. Действительно. Когда 72%, конечно, очень маленький шанс успеха. А когда, блядь, всего 28%. С первого раза все получилось.
His face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a rubber spider, your gloved hand crawls. They are swollen shut. You need to only the little one fit.
The fuck is he doing?
The thing you're looking for. The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches. The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, fragile, even through the latex.
А в задней части рта ты чувствуешь, близко ломаемую челюсть.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. You see a hole, barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished, no larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius. An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Abrasion collar.
Kuno is silent. A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat.
Это пулевое отверстие?
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you...
What the fuck is happening?
Ah, shit, see?
Yes, that's what this part is called. The basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex. This man will never sleep again. Your yellow fingers slide into the remains of the limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structure. This is what he used to regulate his emotions with. The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow. Your fingers reach toward his skull.
Господи, такое ощущение, как будто он уже вот посюду эту руку засунул. Блядь, там как бы, блядь, ладошка в рот у него войдет, и все, и на этом как бы продвижение закончится. А он все, блядь, ее заталкивает. Она уже из жопы должна у него выйти, эта рука.
Ice cold serrated metal. Its edges cut right through the latex and into your finger.
Can you get to it?
There's a tiny crack. A protrusion in the cranium. The object that is in there stops just short of the...
We have the makings of very small...
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano.
Самое главное, у меня Гарье Дюбуа не блеванул при этой всей процедуре.
Like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just... The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize.
Эти игры с числа напоминают XCOM. И исход приблизительно такой же, как в XCOM. Когда тебе показывают, враг стоит, блин, прямо перед тобой, у тебя 99% шанса успеха, и при этом у тебя промах. Здесь приблизительно все то же самое. Я же вон тогда, блин, у меня было сколько, 94 или 92% успеха, и, блядь, у меня проигрыш засчитал. Ну, пуля. Это пуля. Да. Я же сказал, что причина смерти не повешение.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber rifle, some kind of brittle alloy, fractured on impact. Of course, you deserve it. We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury number 4. Oval entry wound with an abrasion collar. Soft palate, back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound? Opinion, fatal injury. And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
He's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead. I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation. There have been other signs too. Small things. We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. no such luck for them.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
To put him out of his misery? It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily. I may be intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me. That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Точно? Прям упрощает? Прям легко сразу стало, да?
To hide something. The real killer, the real motivation, what really happened here. Oh, you really do. I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rags should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it.
Не-не-не, мне придется за номер платить. Я же у бабули там хату снимаю за бесплатно. Поэтому не, пошли они нахуй с этим номером.
I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
We bag the corpse and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. I can transport him to processing myself, but I will be gone for the rest of the day.
Тебе не будет? А чем мне тогда заниматься?
Work on the case. Tend to personal matters. Try not to do anything too dangerous. An officer needs backup in a neighborhood like this. I'll leave that choice to you. And one more thing. Great work, detective.
After you bag the corpse, Lieutenant Kitsuragi will leave the party and
Наконец-то я смогу посидеть на скамеечке.
You can do side tasks.
И на свидание сходить. Столько сразу дел появляется, блин, когда Кима рядом нет. Сидеть на скамеечке и сходить на свиданку.
All right. I will need a little help carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
Так, что это у нас? Деформированная пуля, улика. Надо сохраниться и взаимодействовать.
The bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location. The squished little thing has no idea.
Сплющенная фигнюшка.
I know. You should find the gun that shot this bullet. That sounds like something a police detective would do. First, you should learn all you can about this little guy. Then find the gun that shot it and the person that gun belongs to. He used it to kill your
Да все, мы, считай, раскрыли дело.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag. You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only. Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge. The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter. You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard. It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound. What's interesting about the bullet thus far? A jacketed bullet, which would have been shot from a military-grade breech-loading rifle, not from a muzzle loader like those typically found on the streets of Martinez. Very interesting. You have an unusual military-grade bullet in your hand. Now all you need is to find a gun that could fire it.
92%. Сейчас будет провал.
A rifle. Revolutionary period.
Смотри у меня.
Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter from the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique. The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle.
Но у меня есть винтовка, которую мы в подвале нашли. Как раз военная.
The battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago. Incidentally, you have just such a rifle with you.
Абсолютно случайно.
Thing you found hidden in the basement below the commercial area. It's unusable, sadly. But Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war, so there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around. Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for the same thing you found in that hidden weapons. Back at the station, the lieutenant is standing at a counter, diligently filling out paperwork to hand over to a tired records clerk. You should share your findings with him as soon as possible.
Пуля нам больше ничего не расскажет. Какая она молодец. Так, помыться? Ну, пойдем помоемся. Ну, блин, а мне тогда придется за номер платить?
This is not the cleanest bathtub in the world, but it's cleaner than you are. Right? That soap scum smell. It smells like life, at least compared to you.
Хочу вечно жить в трупном смраде.
The bathtub slowly fills with water. The water beckons. The water is only lukewarm, but still comforting, like amniotic fluid. A few beer cans are bobbing up and down along your flanks, like sad duckies. Now you are alone with your thoughts in the tub, but it's easier than being alone with your
Самому захотелось ванну принять.
outside the tub. They're not even really thoughts, just assorted sensations, none of them acute enough to focus on. Your fingers grow pale and are covered with tiny whirls as the water cools. You see the corpse. You can still smell the cadaver on you. It's going to take more than one bath to get rid of that stench. Then, houses along a narrow street. A video rental. Darkness on the planet's curvature. The waterline recedes as you stand. You are cold now. Your clothes stick to your still.
Ну, больше принять ванну нам не дают, поэтому, видимо, ограничимся. Видимо, будем вонять дальше пока. Так, надо, пока еще не поздно, идти на свиданку и сидеть на скамеечке. Но это все, опять же, в другом конце города. Скоро рабочий день закончится. А, ну, в принципе, в любом случае в ту часть острова идти, потому что хата-то у меня там. Опа, это что у нас? Ну-ка, блин, топлес девушки написано. Угу. Ну, написано и написано. Чё бухтеть-то? Машинка моя, жалко ее, конечно. Ой, жалко машинку. Так это же ты же и оставил эти следы, господи. Очнулся он. Так, дамочка, вон она. Квиксейв.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it. The wind is turning southeast. What's on your mind, officer?
Внушение. У меня есть очки, я могу внушение прокачать. Вместо 2% стало, блядь, 3%. У меня теперь все шансы.
Oh, that's good to know, I guess. Why is it in the sea?
Было, значит, официальное расследование, чтобы определить причины случившегося. Я напился и, по всей видимости, загнал ее в море.
This calls for a funeral, if you ask me. Hi.
Feels deserved, don't you think? Falling in the line of duty like that and all. Why odd? Our things are a part of our life world. They're made with our human sweat and they share human history. We should care about them as we care about humans. To some
Life world. Someone's been reading up on last century Gottwaldian philosophers. Play it cool now.
Oh yeah? You won't even be able to get it out of the water before early June. And where are you going to bury it? Who to invite? What music to play at the wake?
Хрена ты запариваешься?
Take it from someone who's been through a few funerals. It's easiest to just leave them there and let nature take care of it.
Так ты же сама предложила похороны. Она сама такая предложила, слушай, ее надо похоронить. Мы такие, ну ладно, что нужно делать? Такая, да не, знаешь, оставь все как есть. Типа, как только я на нее перевесил заботу о том, что нужно делать.
It's going to be quite a few years before nature is able to completely take care of a motor carriage. You could always come back in a few months and see if you still want to give it a proper send-off.
I understand, believe me. I really do. I think about all the frivolous side activities I could be doing every time I go out there with my nets. But daydreaming is a rich man's game. At sea, you can't afford to be careless and dream. Anyway, what are we talking about here again?
Погоди. Ну, 3%. 3%, что у меня получится. Прикинь, сейчас с первого раза.
What's on your mind, officer?
Oh yes, she does. You need to get your drink on. There is no other way for human beings to procreate. Not after 6,000 years of yeast cultivation-based mating rituals.
Блять, тут три варианта, это про бухло. По какому адресу бы закаточную машину отправить? Не надо. У меня она есть.
What? Funny sailor jokes. Sorry.
It's okay. She just hasn't figured out how these things work between the sexes.
Не, ну прикинь, получится. Но 3% же шанс есть. То есть какая-то вероятность существует, что у меня получится.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it.
Oh yes, she does. You need.
Даю себе 5 попыток. 3% шанс. Даю себе 5 попыток.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel.
Oh yes, she does.
Это какая была? Третья? Четвертая. На 7-й раз, может? Ладно, 7 попыток.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon.
Oh yes, she does.
4. Идем дальше.
Hi, the sea's gonna calm down soon.
You think she really needs more of that
На
after
5!
the man died
На
at sea?
5-й, сука, раз получилось. На 5-й. Я сказал сколько? 5 попыток. На 5-й, сука, у меня получилось. Ну, кто здесь папочка? Кто здесь папочка? Ёбаный ты рот, а? Я за это выпью. Мое здоровье. О! Так на вкус успех. Мне нравится.
What if I told you?
3% шанс, блин, 3%. Ай, бля, у меня там с 92 провал был, а тут я на 5-й раз с 3% умудрился.
Before recorded history, men and women were able
А
to
что
do
если я скажу тебе,
so-called
что ходить на
very
свидание
primitive
можно
things together,
трезвым? Глупость,
acknowledge
конечно.
the situation,
Глупость, но
and
вдруг...
keep it basic.
I have, and I don't really. Just a walk? I don't know, officer. I would not have taken you for an innocent perambulator.
Имя такой. Пожалуйста, пожалуйста, пойдем со мной на трезвую прогулку.
Where would this walk take us, officer?
Nothing creepy, strange, or out there. Keep it eerie and simple.
All right, I will walk with you. But you need to understand that nothing is going to happen. We're just walking. Me too. It's been ages since I just had a normal conversation with one of you guys.
Кого подразумевает? Копов? Алкашей? Алкашей, копов, уебанов и типа меня? Кого она именно конкретно имеет в виду?
She means men.
Спасибо, риторик. Спасибо.
All right, I'll go put the kids to bed and we'll meet at Land's End in 15 minutes.
She doesn't wait for an answer. You better get ready.
Погоди. Может быть, я могу приодеться. У меня все-таки есть одежда. И я ей воспользуюсь. Да ничего так. Ну, на нормального мужичка похож, который идет на свидание. Ну, солидно же. О, погоди, у меня такое есть. Джак. Ну, вот солиднее гораздо выглядит. И к брюкам более-менее подходит. Единственная рубашка, конечно, у меня ублюданская. Она белая. это мерзко. Халат с драконом надо надеть.
These are some wonderfully regular pants. Not too tight, not too loose. Let's hope.
У меня нет времени. Блять, в смысле отказаться от штанов? Куда делись мои штаны? Блять. Он выкинул, что ли, их? Ну, просто во время разговоров, даже внутренних, я бы время тратил. Я такой, типа, я просто скипну это. А там было, типа, отказаться от штанов. И в итоге он их выкинул, получается, что ли? Или уничтожил. Куда они, блядь, делись-то? Куда он дел штаны? Или меня глючит? Или они все еще здесь? Нет, здесь явно не хватает штанов. У меня только одни штаны. То есть, получается, он реально уничтожил штаны? Ну, просто я не хочу перезапускать этот... То, что у меня сохранение было до того, как я с ней разговаривал. И то есть мне сейчас тот 3% шанс, который я каким-то чудом на 5-ю попытку получил, может превратиться в 50 новых попыток. Я не хочу перезапускать сохранение. Что мне делать, герой? Забить хуй или испытать счастье еще раз? Попытать счастье еще раз? Ну потому что, блядь, ну это максимально тупо. Погоди, а автосейв? Автосейвы были... Здесь автосейвы разбросаны. Смотри, автосейв 31 августа и потом 24 сентября. И причем в час разницы между ними. Это что за автосейвы такие? Ну, можно...
These are some wonderfully regular pants. Not too tight, not too loose, moderate in every sense. You'll blend right in at some pleasant dinner party. I know you do. These inter-Isolari pants are like wearing a perfect compromise in your nether regions. You're a little more moralist now, buddy. Makes sense?
Ну, то есть можно было всего 4 реплики использовать, и у меня бы все нормально было. Ну, то есть можно было и пролистать. А теперь мне нужно заново, сука, испытывать эту удачу. Ну, давай, ладно. Ну, тут придется больше 5 попыток дать. Это я гарантирую. Это больше 5 попыток. Мне тогда реально безумно повезло, что на 5-ю попытку у меня это сработало. 7? Ну, давай опять же, да, опять 7. Так, это уже 3-я. Четвертая. Пятая. А погоди, а у меня есть что-то с внушением? Минус внушение, полицейская волна, сумрак, грубая сила. На плюс удача, у меня нету ничего связанного с удачей. В том-то и прикол. Абсолютно ничего связанного с удачей. Так, это 6. Я же говорю. Даже на 7. Ну теперь пока не получится.
Oh, yes.
Теперь пока не получится. До Талова будем.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down.
Oh, yes.
Не, я думаю, это уже невыполнимая задача становится.
Aye, the sea's gonna calm down.
You think she really needs more of
Это
that
получается на
after
какой?
a
На
man
10-ю?
died at
Ну, в
sea?
принципе, тоже неплохо.
What if I told you it is act before?
I have, and I don't really. Just a walk. Where would this?
Nothing creepy, strange.
All right. I will walk with me too.
She
All right, I'll go put the kids to.
she doesn't wait for an answer. You better get ready.
Ну, в этот раз мы хотя бы штаны не проебали. Не, ну вообще глупая такая херня. Отказаться от мыслей и штанов. И штаны просто, блин, на атомы расщепляются. Родная, я тут.
The woman gazes steadily at the waves. A sudden gust picks up her dark hair and lets it fall again, tousled, wild. She brushes a few stray locks from her eyes, and only then spots you approaching.
Aye, so here you are. It's late and the sun is going down. It'll be dark soon. If we stay here long enough, we will be joined by a cortege of drunks. Know that you're not the first guy to bring a girl to Land's End. This is what the locals call a make-out spot. That is not going to happen here today. I just want to make that clear, Dimples.
Причем в субтитрах, ну, написано «обжиманий», но при этом она сказала именно поцелуйчики, засосы. Вот это вот.
Across the rusty water, that's La Delta, the financial district. In the mist-covered distance, towers rise as a rebuke to the poverty of this coast.
Drinking men aren't known for keeping their appointments. The world? Those big words men like to throw around as though they had weight. Let's just admire this piece of the world we happen to have in front of us, eh?
As she turns to face the sun, reflected in the waves, and the skyscrapers rising across the bay, you cannot help following her steady gaze.
Ну, мы, к сожалению, из-за ракурса камеры не видим этот прекрасный вид, но спасибо, что описали нам его.
Reflected in the waves, and the skyscrapers rising across the bay. Your mind clears for a moment as your senses take it all in. Not just the glass skyscrapers, fragile looking in the shimmering air. River Esperance flowing into the bay.
Isn't it strange for this all-powerful thing, the sun, to be so generous towards us? You know, the best time to go out fishing is usually towards sunset, when the water is warmer.
The sun also falls on the Capeside tenements and war-torn ruins.
Опять же, мы этого тоже не видим.
The fortress juts out, seemingly impervious to the sheen cast over everything else, shaking you out of your reverie. The sun isn't always that great. Think of people living in desert climates with sparse vegetation and little drinking water.
Oh, that was a bit of pride and a bit of superstition.
And a bit of conceptual unity too, it being yellow and all.
Now you're just nitpicking. But I concede. Maybe desert people sometimes disagree.
There's salt in the air, and the cries of the gulls and the skuas. Grit of the sand and the green glint of broken bottles. But still your gaze always returns to the dazzling streaks of light, wherever they may be reflected, their fading opulence.
It's bringing us spring, summer. It's entirely on our
Солнце —
side.
это не то чтобы
No matter what we
организация.
do or who we are, for absolutely no reason. It's unlike no other powerful being, certainly no powerful organization or government. How can that be?
Этому есть объяснение. Политическое. Понимаешь? Это как тот мем, где... Это как его... Какой-то чувак сидит, держит за шею бабу, где-то не на трибуне сидят, и он как будто бы ей что-то объясняет. Вот, мне кажется, вот этот вот второй вариант ответа, это как раз идеально под этот мем ложится. Этому есть объяснение. Политическое. Понимаешь? Сейчас я тебе все расскажу.
I guess we wouldn't really be here if that thing wasn't on our team.
У тебя рыболовные крючки в ушах.
Thank you. I'm half Ubi. My mother was from Ubi Sunt. Not a lot of sun there, I hear, though I've never been.
The wind ruffles her hair as she looks at the setting sun.
Я могу концептуализацию себе поднять. Концептуализация. Ау! Извиняюсь. Принять. Ну, уже лучше. Но это не гарантирует провал, как бы. Но и успех тоже. Просто, так, как ты думаешь, кто убил в итоге повешенного?
These aren't real fishhooks, silly. They're earrings shaped to look like fishhooks. A drunk called Rosemary brought them to me. I kept them.
She's right. They're made mostly of plastic. A cheap novelty gift you can buy from a flower shop or a kiosk. The wind ruffles her hair as she looks at the setting sun. Here we go.
Ну, слава богу. Спасибо. Воззриться на солнце. Да, мощная термоядерная реакция, которая уже 5 миллиардов лет воистину. Солнце — это божество.
Aye. And a benevolent one. When did you last have one of those on your side?
Какие-то странные. Может, лет в 20. Потом, когда моя любовь была со мной, ни за что. Просто, когда за тебя в последний раз был кто-то подобный? Ни за что.
Well, now you have that giant thing to watch over you. So, to hell with love. You know, the wind's gonna pick up soon, and I have to go, but...
Достает меч из ножен, просто отрубает нашему Гарри голову. И все, и труп в воду скидывает. И на этом как бы титры.
Have this. The sun's good, but it doesn't stick things. I've no use for it anymore. No. Men around here are too drunk to pose a threat to me. Doubt it. But thank you for the company. Farewell.
Все? Ну, то есть я что-то сделал не так? Ну, в принципе, завершено, ну, то есть не провалено. Но завершено как бы тоже есть хорошее завершено и плохое завершено. А мне интересно, какой еще вообще может быть исход? Как ее зовут? Лильен? Мне нравится, блядь, вот как в Disco Elysium кидает на страницу Вики, в которой ничего нет. Просто описание, название миссии и описание миссии. И при этом все остальное пустое. И так каждая миссия, блядь. Нахуй вообще эта Вики нужна, в которой ничего, блядь, нет. Вот опять же, этот персонаж Лильен. Персонаж Disco Elysium в игре. Пропуск, личность, пропуск, интересные факты, пропуск. Охуенная Википедия. Ну вот стоп-геймовское прохождение, может быть, здесь мне кто-нибудь что-нибудь расскажет уже, сука, вразумительное. Ну тут опять же не акцентирует внимание. Просто надо найти свой значок, но я уже его нашел. Ломбард Роя. Жалко, нельзя сделать поиск на странице. А вот Лильен. Здесь просто написано, что у Лильен можно взять лодку и отправиться на остров по сюжету. Блин, меня бесит, когда в видео формате. Мне гораздо удобнее воспринимать в виде текста, а не вот в виде вот этого блядского видосика на ютюбе от какого-то картавого школьника с херовым микрофоном, как это обычно происходит. Просто в тексте прочел там буквально пару предложений, и все, и спокойно своими делами занимаешься. А видос, он мне сейчас листать нужно до того момента, когда, блядь, это в нужное мне место он придет. Он хочет выбрать вариант ответа. Просто солнце не человек. То, что все люди предатели. Не такой же вариант, как я выбрал. А у него еще меньше процентов у этого чела, у него там 17% по поводу того, это. У меня было там 54 или типа того. У него было 17. И не, она там тоже уходит. Ну, то есть, как бы, видимо, тут никаких вариантов больше нет. Она может только уйти. То есть, свидание закончится всегда одинаково. Что печально. Но, по идее, она нам уже должна дать возможность воспользоваться ее лодкой. А, мы еще на скамеечке не посидели. Надо на скамеечке посидеть. За которые мне... Точнее, на которые мне из Акима не давали посидеть. Надо посидеть на скамеечке. Только, блядь, где она, я не помню. Она, по-моему, до деревни была, да? Да, вот она, скамеечка.
You sit on the wind-worn wooden planks of the bench. Your feet ache. The twiddling barely keeps your hands warm against the frigid wind blowing from the coast. After a while, you've...
Ничего особенного. Не, наверное, если я посижу здесь... Что здесь за эти... Бомжи тусуются. Ну-ка, надо с бомжами срочно все уладить. Здорово, бомжи. Или кто вы? Вы бомжи? Вы мистер бомж?
Good to see you, friend. Do I have deals set up for you, buddy boy?
Does he actually know you? Or is he just shopkeep friendly?
So what do you want? I got smokes. They're cheap. Very cheap. I got Pilsner. Great deal. You won't get a better deal on that piss. Spirits I can let go for 300 real. I also have speed.
Ничего себе предприятие ты организовал.
Amphetamine. Oh. The system's been good to old Rosemary here. You see, Fred, bought cigarettes?
The hook. Where is it? I can't see it.
У тебя есть разрешение на всю эту херню?
Of course, of course, of course. It is what it is, you know. What it's always been. Oh. You see,
the hook.
Permit? Who gives a shit? You want to buy something? Grease the wheels. See, friend, it's real valuable. Worth every real, if you catch my drift. Got it from a bit of a business venture. You know, it's funny, actually.
Что так дорого? Ну вот я тоже как бы задался этим вопросом. Хули бутылка спирта 300 реалов стоит? Да что за спирт у него там такой?
He's finding it difficult to focus his watery gaze.
What?
Что? В смысле что?
Keep him talking.
This guy. Oh, this is medicinal spirits. The good stuff. Got it from the doctor's office. I got one of those scientific ampoules a few months ago. Torpedo, they call it. It's supposed to keep a man from taking a drink. Didn't stop me for shit, that's for sure. 5 lemons with half a pack of butter and you're good to go. It was. In a week, the goddamn kidneys started giving me all kinds of help. Finally, the missus took me to a private doctor's office. Not a charity, the real thing. Those arseholes charged me 4 real to remove the damn thing. But I came out on top after all. The idiots left me alone in there. Now, I used to teach high school biology. I know what doctors use to preserve dead thingies. It's like 3 cans of this blue medicinal stuff from the back room. Threw the snakes out and voila. What's left is this beautiful blue stuff. 98.7% almost pure alcohol. Two I already sold to these fine gentlemen here. But this last one is yours for 3 real, if you want it.
Последнее твое всего 3
Don't
реала. Не говори этого. Да, 3 реала. Я думал, она стоит 300. Я думал, если я сейчас скажу 300, он мне опять ее, блядь, 300. Что тут, в смысле, 300, если он за 3 отдает?
Real and it's yours, friend.
Well done. You got it. That's a much more reasonable price right there. Makes sense now.
Just make sure to enjoy that one, friend.
Просто чел сам забыл, что он ее за 300 толкал, пока мне описывал, насколько охеренный этот спирт.
If you drink this, then you'll die. That's a fact. And that's why we're going to save you from yourself and store this as a
ну я думал ради ачивки хотя бы.
Ты
смотри-ка, сука какая, а? Специально, чтобы я его не выпил и не сдох, они запретили его использовать. От сучары.
The noxious...
Don't you call her? Yeah! Don't call her!
Я могу позвонить кому захочу, не указывай мне, что делать.
Ага. Abigail. Don't you fucking call Abigail.
You're not going to get anything out of this guy. He's too drunk. He snorts and beckons you to lean in.
Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail. Don't call Abigail. Don't you fucking call her. Hear me? Don't call.
Да не буду я звонить Эбигейл твоей, придурок. Ну, нормально, кстати, выгодная сделка. Я купил за 3, могу продать за 6.
See, you haven't left our little Martinez yet. Still running around. Like some kind of cross-country law official. Aye, but don't let it grow too much. This is not the place to settle down. Now, what's on your mind, officer?
Да ничего, у него пустота в голове. Больше у него ничего там нет. Сейчас даже алкоголя там нет. Хотя электрохимия продолжает меня накалять. Каждый раз встревая в разговор и пытаясь накидать меня либо наркотиками, либо алкоголем. Но я не поддамся. Электрохимия меня не сломает. Блядь, где этот чувак, которого жена ищет? Когда вот эта хрень была закрыта, он прям вот здесь стоял. Мы починили плотину, и он, блядь, пропал отсюда. И где мне его искать?
The old woman's. The buzz. There's a gap where the name of that song.
Yes, I can't really sleep. My suggestion is a lullaby my mother used to sing. I surrender to the night.
That's kind of grim for a children's song, even if it is a lullaby.
Yes, it.
It's getting late and it's snowing. Time to call it a day. An old mirror hangs on the wall. On the table, you see the bed is comforting. Across the room, the heating system hums its soft lullaby. The mattress feels soft and sheets warm. It only takes you moments for the world to fall away.
Thoughts, baby. A million little lights in the dark. You're one fine instrument, brother. All those faces and all those names. All that laughter and screaming and scheming around. Every corner and every street.
Recorded in you. Forever on Faraday.
Что за ужас тут творится?
Это сон. Знакомьтесь.
On and on it goes, for untold hours. At the disco where you first asked her to dance. Rising, rising. Above the dark curvature, the great wingspan of sleep, studded with stars.
Behold, there are millions of them down there. The first time, the last time, the smoke in her mouth, the plotted flowers, the faces turning, changing.
It's the world, Harry boy, and you're made of it. Every day you're out there, you make more of yourself from it. I'm afraid you can't be unmade now. You can never forget this shit.
All stuck on loop, whirling, spitting out words and images.
Блять, ты прикинь, я сейчас это просто тыкнул в какую-то новость, высветилась другая, и я просто что-то вчитался, там про смерть Юрия Шатунова, типа заголовок желтушный. Я предупреждал его, как предупреждаю сейчас миллионы россиян, спасайте себя, лечите сосуды уже сегодня. Известный кардиохирург Мясников на передаче «Место встречи» покомментировал внезапно, бла-бла-бла-бла-бла-бла. И знаешь, во что это все перетекает? Это все перетекает в огромную статью с рекламой, сука, препарата. То есть где-то на середине вот этой статьи я листаю, и тут внезапно я начал говорить про натуральное средство микардин. Это уникальное средство на базе живых... И все, и дальше в каждом абзаце упоминается слово микардин, блядь. Просто, блядь. И все, и дальше вообще про что-то здесь ни слова не сказано. Здесь столько, блядь, про рекламу микардины, нахуй. Блядь, надо прикинь, сука, насколько отбитыми уёбками надо быть. А в конце, блядь, реклама того, что там акция на него проходит. Со скидкой от 25% до 100. Сука, уёбки, блядь. И в комментариях все такие: заказала по акции, выпала скидка. 50%. Вышло копейки. О, если бы вы не вы, я бы никогда не узнал о микардине. Блять, какие же мрази все, сука, а. Ладно, продолжаем.
You're the son of the world again. Harristar, a ceaseless agent. Picking up litter and old newspapers. Collecting your little bubblegum wrappers and idiotic picture postcards. Meaningless, meaningless keepsake.
Reading your awful letters and recalling things, aren't you? The endless names of the world. An address book you are. The map.
You'll go insane if you keep going like this.
For the working class.
Внезапно. Риторика. Ради пролетариата. Меня поэтому всегда... Ну, правда, в аптеках, конечно, там они такие препараты, но просто меня всегда поражает, когда я прихожу, да, за четко поставленными, так сказать, медикаментами, и они такие: а знаете, у нас сегодня по акции вот это, не хотите? А я понятия не имею, что это и зачем мне это может понадобиться по акции или не по акции. Зачем мне это рекомендовать? Не, ну, с другой стороны, может быть, мне это нужно, и мне как бы говорят, а тут оно еще и по акции, может быть, но просто зачем?
For the money, baby. For the greater good.
Solving your little crossword puzzles. Doing your tasks. Crossing names off lists. Trying to become some sort of world detective. There he goes again. He's a real political animal,
He's got no idea.
Cause beep, beep, beep.
Do it for the picture puzzle. Put it all together. Solve the world. Good. You're up. Listen, there's something that's been bothering you for a few days now.
Ну-ка.
It's a suspicion, or a feeling really, that things are not quite in hand around here. An earth-shattering deduction from your psyche. What will those guys come up with next?
Ну-ка.
Every day, things seem to spin more and more wildly, out of control. The center isn't holding. And despite your efforts to moderate and contain these energies, oh sure, you've been making progress on your case, interviewing people, solving side tasks, but who's focusing on the big questions? But have you ever seen them? How do you know they're even there? More importantly, how do you know they aren't waiting for your participation? You've got to find out who bears la responsabilité. The most awesome, terrible thing. It is human nature to crave la responsabilité and to deny it. That's why it must be.
Ладно, давай ее сюда, я понесу ответственность.
Organizations, agencies, offices, and portfolio. Whoa, whoa, whoa. This isn't some kind of dictatorship. You can't simply seize la responsabilité like a committee. There is always time to follow best practices. Once someone's decided a little self-dealing, only the most even-keeled minds in Martinez. Your half-brother, the lieutenant, is a natural place to start. Together, you'll be able to discover who has la responsabilité in Revachol. Most likely, your findings will be, once they've reviewed it, those same super... Rest assured, good luck. Your report is eagerly anticipated.
А, это задание? Я думал, это мысль. Возьмите ля респонсабилите на себя. Здесь царит полный беспорядок. Так, соберите комитет моралистов для распределения обязанностей. Возможно, Ким знает, с чего начать. Пиздец квест, конечно. Ну ладно, с этим мы разберемся тогда уже в следующий раз. Ну, в принципе, ну, сегодня продвинулись или нет? Да, в принципе, какой-то прогресс есть. И день прошел. Уже неплохо. Когда-нибудь я пройду эту игру. Когда-нибудь, но не сегодня. День прошел, да, такой типа, оп, и день прошел. Что, плохо? Нет, нормально.